If there's one thing that I learned, it's that cold approaching fucking sucks. I'll have to censor out that F-bomb right there. Yeah, no, for the few years that I've been in my fraternity, we've had this thing called Rush. Rush is, of course, our recruitment period. One thing they have to do a lot during that period is cold approach. You just go up to people random and be like, yo, have you ever been in a fraternity before? No, it's not exactly how you go. You have to cold approach. You have to approach with this idea in mind. Hey, have you ever played? Usually we have events that we invite people out to, like, say it's dodgeball. Hey, when's the last time you played dodgeball? Alright, cool. Well, we're having dodgeball at this time here at this event, blah 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 blah, and that's how that works. Or it could be like kickball, and we have kickball out in the field at this time. Well, that's like one type of cold approaching. There's also just like social, just general social times where you'll have to approach people. It doesn't make sense because people don't want to be approached anymore. People don't want to be bothered. I'm one of those people that doesn't want to be bothered or approached. Literally, the way that I was pulled into the fraternity was like, hey, you really like esports and gaming, right? You might like this group of guys that I sometimes hang out with because I'm part of this group of guys. I was like, oh, these guys seem cool. Oh, this is a fraternity. Wait, my dad was in this fraternity. Not the same chapter, but it was the same fraternity of a different chapter. Yeah. I was told actually recently that these videos feel a bit troll-ish, like I'm trolling. That's not my intent at all. I'm following through as much as I can. There's also cold approaching, like you say, oh, there's a really pretty girl you like, or pretty or handsome guy, whichever way you swing, whichever way you go, or a very attractive looking individual, whichever way you go, but yeah, you see an attractive individual who catches your eye. You're like, oh wow, I really like the way they look. I kind of want to know about them a little bit more, but I have to approach them. I have to cold approach them. So you have to just like walk up to them like, hey, I like the way you look. But you have to find it in a different way that isn't, I like the way you look. And you have to be like, hey, that's a really nice shirt. I think it's really cool. Where did you get that? You have to start off with some type of odd topic about like something about their appearance that you notice that isn't weird, mind you. Don't be weird. Don't be like, oh, I know those pants. Those pants are really cool. Don't do that. Don't. If you notice like, oh, their hair is dyed in a certain way, and the way their hair is dyed, like, hey, I noticed you dyed your hair this color and like this way. I think that's really cool. If you also have dyed hair, like, be like, I also dye my hair. I don't know. Okay, it's all about the person and perspective, because you aren't always going to be able to just do it. So you just do. And for motorcycles, my experience with riding motorcycles, whenever you're approaching people, it's actually really easy as like a biker to approach other bikers, because like, oh, you ride motorcycle too? Cool. What motorcycle do you ride? And then you start looking at the motorcycle, you start talking about the specs and everything, and like all the modifications that are done, or like the generalness of the motorcycle, and you go back and forth, and eventually you guys go on like this fucking group ride. That's just how I notice with motorcycles, it's so much easier to socialize. Holy crap, it is so much easier to socialize than it is in any other demographic. Motorcycles are a social hobby. That's one thing I do appreciate about them. There's gaming, depending on like what game you're playing or like who's playing the game as well. You just lost the game, by the way. It can be interesting because like, depending on the person playing the game, they could be very social or they could be very not social. And so that's a common theme, is like it's variable when it comes to gaming and gamers as a whole. I know like half the guys in the Smash scene. Some of them are like very, very quiet. They're like, oh, you're talking to me? I don't want to talk right now. I just want to play a game. And then it comes to other guys, like it actually varies because like some of them are really, really social, like really talkative, and you can kind of tell in that aspect, like who's who, who's what. There's also people who play like FPS games. Usually they're very social. I don't think I've met an antisocial FPS player. Between COD and R6 and what other game, they've all been like, hey, how's it going, and just start yapping your ear off about something. It'd be cars. I've met somebody who plays Call of Duty who's like really into cars. But yeah, no, when it comes to FPS games, those people are really social, so like they might honestly cold approach you if you're not the first to do it. They mean, hey, so you play this too? I'm like, yeah. And then you start talking. It could range anywhere from like daily life to how the game is played and how you play the game. It all just depends with like FPS players. Another thing that like an experience I have from cold approaching is when I got locked out of my dorm. That was a funny one. I got locked out of my dorm. The person across the hall from me, like it's like somebody broke into her dorm. It was like a funny cold approach that way. But she asked me if I got locked out, and I said yeah, and I just started talking to them, her and her dad at the time, and yeah. On a more balanced note, yeah, this is day 10.